Hello. I couldn't decide how I wanted to reveal you, Liz. I'm sorry. I had this pause of what do I do? Good morning and welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in just kind of bleh today, downtown Brevard, North Carolina.
And Liz, I'm the Minion there.
Yeah, and I'm still standing because as I rip this off,
You have this fantastical finished.
I have to show off. I mean, it's the knitting is finished.
The weaving in ends.
The weaving in of ends. I might actually take this off in a second to show you all that, but I can't believe it. I finished
so good.
I finished the sleeve. I did not think that would happen this weekend.
Spin.
Why?
Because
you want to show off the tail?
What? They could see your tail if
could they?
If they yeah. There's like a billion ends.
So I finished the cuffs. I finished knitting yesterday morning. I spent all day. For those of you who joined us on Saturday, I was like here.
You got 3.5.
Yeah, I didn't do all of that. Like I had like an inch or so already done for knit afternoon. Yeah. But then I just decided I'm getting this sucker done, or I'm gonna try. And I spent most of Sunday just working on this. And up here, the blue, this is not part of the sweater, even though from far away it looks like it.
It looks like it.
The sweater starts with the maroon. So the body, which you all saw me in just the body last week, ends nicely in pattern with the maroon. The sleeves, this is the maroon of the body. Usually sleeves are a little bit longer than the torso, unless you're making like a tunic. I got through the decreases here and went, I think it's time. And then I tried it on and went, oh yeah, it's time for the cuffs. And the question was, do I keep going in pattern, which would have been light gray? Or do I do the cuffs in the same color as all the other cuffs?
Until you said something just now, I thought you had ended perfectly in pattern.
That's what I'm going to tell everybody else. So, we didn't. Not that this matters. Sorry if that makes noise on your end, guys. Maybe I'll mute out any loud noise the microphone just made, but that would have annoyed me. So this sleeve is done. The ends are all woven in. The armpit holes I've mostly sewn up as best I could when I was tired last night. This side, you can't see, but I can stick my finger in there. Armpit hole.
Armpit holes are a thing.
They're a thing. People will say they have solutions to that. My solution is to sew it together when I'm done. All these ends, and some people will say, well, why didn't you carry your yarn? I will also say that I'm done with the ends. The color changes are like in the middle of the back. And so you might even be able to tell where I've woven in my ends and where I haven't.
Barely.
These ones kind of felted themselves together better than the ones on the underarm. But it's also dark and gloomy outside, so we don't have great lighting. The reason I didn't carry my yarns and have fewer ends to weave in is this one is not used again till down here. And this one is not used again till down here. So
you're carrying through 3 stripes.
You would have had 4 yarns that were kind of chunky carrying through, not just, alternating and being fashionable and thin. I don't know. It's not the right word, but I didn't want a lump running down the middle of my back like this. So I just have a crap ton of ends to weave in. But I'm really, really happy. Like, how about this? If there's time at the end, I will take this off and show you all where I've woven in ends and where I haven't, so you can see the difference. But I don't want to take up our whole, we're starting a little late, 45 minutes maybe.
45 minutes today.
Which, we used to stress about 8 minutes. That's so funny. But I don't want to spend the whole 45 minutes on just the sweater, although I am super, super proud of getting it done. And look at that.
Super, super awesome.
Of course, I always like it better from this angle. But it's so much fun. And we have kits And I'm trying to get more of this Hearthstone. This Hearthstone is a light sport weight, so it's flowy. Look at that, it's flowy and light, but wonderfully warm and soft. I had such fun knitting with this. It's almost silky. It's alpaca and merino, but it almost feels silky knitting with it and now wearing it. I'm hoping the blocking might, it's a little ripply here, and that might stay because I have big girls. And this is an all over yoke increase. It's not a raglan sweater where you just have the diagonal. That's like the sweater I wore in today, which is the hip stripe sweater. It is all over increases, which mean when you're increasing equally everywhere, there may be places where it puckers a little because most people don't increase all over everywhere at the same rate. This is the relaxed collar, which, I'm not necessarily a wide relaxed collar person, but I didn't want to have to go pick up stitches at the end. Relaxed collar means you get to just start here and go. So I can manipulate this a little so it's not super wide, but then it kind of puckers here a little bit. We'll see what happens when I block it. This has not been blocked. I might not need to block this, but I'm probably going to anyway, just to show you all the difference. And you can see either later this week or next week. It could be next week. I still have not blocked my Papillon. That's where life is right now. But it could be that next week I'm showing you and you can compare videos. Until then, I have tails here and here.
Well, next week I'll have my my Hearthstone crochet also blocked, and we can look and see the difference between crochet and knit.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
In Hearthstone.
In Hearthstone. Yes. So these the stripes are 8 stitches. Just to talk about this for one more second, the stripes are 8 rows. The sleeves, I started decreasing them once a stripe, and then I went, that's probably going to be too long because the stripes are just over 1 inch. The instructions said to decrease every inch. So I started decreasing every 6 rows, which meant some of the decreases happened at the beginning of the stripe, some happened in the middle, some happened at the end. I had to count 2 different sets of numbers, but I did them 2 at a time. And shout out to Cheryl, when we were doing them with her, 2 at a time meant 2 circulars, the front half of each of these was on one and the back half on another, or like back and front and back to make them match. It's kind of hard to explain. And she was having a ridge where she changed needles, which a laddering like that can happen with double points, 2 circulars, everything. Magic loop too. I was kind of, but I don't think it shows. I think it's already kind of like if I pull on it, I can tell. But it really is about making sure that first stitch is tight, even though it looks a little gappy. It's pulling on the stitch from the needle behind the cord really tight. So a stretched out stitch on your new needle and a pulled tight stitch on your old needle will eventually even out. Perhaps with blocking, perhaps just with time. I'm not feeling a huge gap right now. I could see it and dig for it if I needed to. I could show you where it was, but I think it looks pretty good. All right, Liz. So I don't monopolize all the time. What did you work on this weekend?
I finished a project too.
Same with me. She hasn't blocked it yet.
I haven't blocked it yet.
That's Hearthstone.
This is Hearthstone.
Same yarn as this sweater, different color. This is the maroon or burgundy or one of those. I forget what it's called. I want to say
this is redstone.
Yes. A lot of them have stone in the name.
It's a dark broody red.
Mm-hmm. But it's not burgundy.
No. It's almost like a lighter shade of burgundy. This
has a little bit of purple in it, and that one doesn't. So, and I have a stiff neck from sleeping weird last night. If I look funny, if I'm like ow, ow, ow.
It's done. Okay,
let me try to help.
I think the easiest would be
wait. We can kind of see on the racks. See that? Look at that thistle right there. I see a thistle. Wait, no, you dropped it.
I know. I'm trying to get my fingers up underneath so I can.
I was talking about the lower level of thistle, but there's a higher level. Okay, so move it over towards you, up a little. See that?
There it is.
There's the lower thistle, and then let's maybe try to drop so we can see the higher thistle. Move towards you again.
it is.
There's, oh look, the leaves and thistle.
Yeah.
Look at that. This whole thing, you can't really see. We would need a backdrop that's not as pretty and distracting as the one we have. Right now we don't have that. I will try to put, like, what your hope is to...
I'm going to block it on the rug in here because it's a circle and this is a circle. This is. And I can pin the center and then pull everything out evenly around the circle.
Whenever we do that, I will try to grab a photo so we can put it on Instagram, and Facebook, so y'all can see the beauty of this.
It's
what we also might have to do. What do you do?
If you fold here.
Okay.
Fold them hands.
What we also might have to do is once it's blocked, if she decides to wear it, I'm going to recommend that Liz finds something light to wear.
Yes.
To show off the pattern. We can show it off on her. So it's a big, gigantic circular. It was a doily in the original pattern.
It was a doily in the original pattern.
But if you fold it, you have a crescent shawl. Look at that. And there's pretty stuff you can't see because it's too dark.
It's like 2 yards wide.
It's pretty cool. It's Liz size.
It's my size.
And when you block it, it might get bigger.
And when I block it, it might get a little bigger.
We'll see.
For those of you who knew about my fussing, I did put beads on the picos.
Yeah, she texted me about spilling beads, and I'm like, what the heck are you doing with beads?
I had some freshwater pearls that perfectly matched this. I would have had to sew those on. That I would have called friends. They know what to do.
She has several people lined up to hurt her if she uses beads again.
And to me. These I crocheted on. It wasn't horrible.
Can I look?
There's 3 seed beads on each pico.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't horrible, and yeah, I won't do it again, or at least not for a while.
I would be careful what you say, because you said you weren't ever going to use beads again. Period.
So I finished that.
Apparently, there are caveats to that. Yes.
Well, it needed something. It's not as much weight as I wanted to have around the picos, but it's enough that
it's enough to kind of keep it from being floofy, because this yarn is floofy.
It is.
This yarn is floofy and light and wonderful, and this sweater makes me so happy because I don't feel like I'm wearing a sweater right now.
Yeah,
I don't feel like I'm. We had people in last week who wanted a big heavy sweater.
Yes.
This is not yarn to use for a big heavy sweater, but it's perfect because all this yarn involved. Let me show you. I said I wasn't going to only talk about the sweater, but I'm still talking about the sweater. To get the sleeves done 2 at a time, I had to break up my leftover balls once I finished the torso into 2 balls. Like I wound this one off of this one, so this one's all bleh, and this one's a little better. But this is all the yarn I still have left over. I only used 4 skeins of yarn for this sweater, for this entire sweater. And I still have, this is the one I have the least left over of. I'm actually knitting a shawl that I will probably use these leftovers in that shawl. But there's not a lot left because the cuffs were all done. This has the least left. But I mean, I'm not going to weigh them right now, but we can always report back. Like I would say I probably have 25 grams, like a quarter of each ball left. And I made the 50-inch bust size. So if you're lengthening it or making a bigger size, I'm pretty sure when we listed these kits online for this yarn, we listed kits with a whole bunch of different yarns. But for this yarn especially, I said these 4, like a single skein of each of these colors. So 4 skeins of Hearthstone should get up to maybe a size 6. And we also had someone in last week who was like, I'm not a size 6. I'm not talking about pant size or anything. Their sweater sizes are numbered 1 through like 10 or something, but that doesn't correlate to any size you would buy in the shop.
Their own sizing system when they write patterns.
Yes. And I did size 5 or 6, I think. It's whatever was the 50-inch finished bust. Like look at this. There's space in there for me. But look at how much yarn I had left over. So this will change depending on how people knit and how they're following the pattern. There's all kinds of variables involved. There's no guarantees in how far the yarn will get you. But I mean, I think at least the next size or 2 up might have been able to be done with only 4 skeins of yarn, which I think is pretty remarkable. The Hearthstone, the caveat on that one is the Hearthstone does have, it's a sport weight yarn technically, but it's got fingering
weight yardage.
Yardage.
I used
it's a lot of yardage on one ball.
I used just under 2 skeins for this.
And crochet eats up yarn. Like
the first one took me all the way out to the start of the second set of thistles, and the second ball, like I have just a hand knit ball like this. So
I have to go back and look. I left the pattern at home because I'm planning on blocking this at home, and why bring in extra stuff? I brought in so much stuff today. But I have to go back and look, and it could be that even if you're making a size or two bigger than the 50 inch, which is a decent size sweater, because parts of me aren't so little anymore. You probably could still only use 4 skeins of yarn and be okay, which is really great. And we can't really package it smaller than full skeins of yarn. So it's a great value. Like the kit for the sweater I made, which is just the yarn. It's not the pattern, it's not the needles, because a lot of people maybe already have the pattern or access to the pattern or have all the needles they need and want. So if you're wanting to make this sweater and you don't have the pattern or the needles, please also purchase them from our site or get the pattern from Ravelry. But this yarn, I'm pretty sure we have listed for $75 as a package deal. And that's pretty good.
That's pretty good for a sweater, because depending on the sweater, really I've seen sweaters go well over $2.
I have knit several sweaters that are at least $150 worth of yarn. So this is pretty good. We have some other kits for this sweater that are going to be different prices because the yarn involved, not as many yards on a skein. So you need more colors involved, that kind of thing.
The walkabout one is
like 80, maybe it's less.
I want to say it's a little bit more because it's more colors.
It's more color. They're small balls of yarn, but we did more colors to fit that. It might be 85. I don't know. But the Patagonia kits that we have, I think we had to use 5 colors instead of 4
because they're not,
because the yardage is different. Yeah, the yardage is different. But those will be gorgeous. Those will be a little heavier than than mine looks. But mine is a lighter, flowier sweater. Like the heavier yarns, again, they're not super thick. It's still sport weight. The heavier yarns will give you a more substantial sweater if that's what you want. I'm still planning on some point making that Jupiter crop. I think maybe. And I'm looking at, that's one by Caitlin Hunter. This is by Andrea Mowry. Now I'm eyeing some of those colors of Patagonia for that. However, like some of what we put together for a striped sweater for that, I'm like, oh, that would make a beautiful Patagonia. Like what beautiful.
The poor Patagonia sweater has been through 3.
The Jupiter crop.
Or Jupiter crop has been through 3 incarnations of yarn.
Thoughts of what yarn to use.
Like, ooh, let's do this. Oh, wait, let's do that.
But now the Patagonia, like there's certain colors we can't get back in again. They're super back ordered. And I don't want to use one in a sweater if one of our customers wants it. So
it's true.
The struggle is real.
So real.
Yes. And I probably should maybe finish at one more sweater because let's see, before I start a new one, because this one's done. Yay.
What?
I have the Sisa yarn one that I'll probably never get back to. I have the Coastline, the Golden Fern, Coastline's the yarn. It's a Brighton. The Golden Fern, the Lisa Hahn one with the cable in it, the Ready Set Raglan one. That might be it. I might be down to 5 sweaters on needles. But
that seems unreal.
I know. But I still have that goal of like finishing a project every weekend. Well, that means I should be starting new projects. It also means I should be getting projects to a point where I can actually finish them. This one was a fluke, I think, because there was a lot of knitting involved. I set a new calorie goal on my watch on Sunday because I fool my watch by knitting. So it probably thinks the last one I blew the calorie goal out of the water. It was over 1,000 calories. I did not really burn 1,000 calories. I would not look like this if I was burning 1,000 calories a day. It said I did 15 miles. It thought I walked 15 miles because I was walking like walking. I was knitting the whole day. I was sitting in one place.
Saturday morning, I woke up and wanted to finish watching Justice League. And in order to do that, I was winding yarn because you can't concentrate and knit. And I looked at my watch before we started knit afternoon and it said I'd walked 3,000 steps. And I was like, it's Saturday. There's
no
no way.
No way.
It's the winding.
I can see if
It's the winding.
my health app, where'd my health app go? I don't know where my health app actually is, so I don't want to waste too much of our time.
So Friday night, we both got a considerable amount done on our Papillons.
Oh yeah, I got a little bit done.
Well, enough to make me want to work on mine all day Saturday.
She's gonna win because I have other stuff to work on.
She has other stuff.
Why don't you show off your Papillons and then I will show off. Oh wait, are you close to the end or not?
Okay, it's fine. So this one is my zombie. The zombie one I started at the same time Rebecca started hers. I'm doing the 6 colors, the pop and the contrast. So anyway, I got section 1 all done. And then my pop.
I don't think this is gonna let me look back to Sunday, so I'm putting it away.
My pop blends in nicely with my brains.
That looks so gorgeous. Like you can't really on camera see the change in colors, but there's a change in colors and it's really, really
contrast
pretty.
Is Pebble Beach brains. And then dirt, which is not Pebble Beach, it's Smoky Joe. So there's my pop. And it goes from the red into the
spice plum
into the plum imps, which is what I just finished.
That's great that you're showing off the balls because it really shows off the colors range,
which goes into
the camera can't pick
grape.
Look how pretty that is.
Which goes into crocus, which goes into whoops, I'm gonna drop them all into the green, which is not the pop.
Is that avocado or gecko?
It's gecko. And then my pop is the dirt, Smoky Joe. So
it's gonna be so pretty.
Zombie.
It's gonna be so pretty.
It's based on a skein that I bought that was a fade over dye. Over dye, and it starts out with deep reds and goes into the purples, and then has pops of green and light purples at the bottom. And I was like, I could Papillon that. And
and that was semi-inspired by me starting a Papillon, and she's like, yes. You started a Papillon?
I was jealous.
Without me? I talked to her about what I was going to do with the Papillon.
We discussed it. I just didn't know she'd started it.
So this, I've wanted to do, I've mentioned before, I wanted to do one out of Puno. By the way, this is so ridiculous. This is alpaca, silk, and merino. And it's so soft and wonderful. And it's, one of our knitters called it a bullseye, and now it's a bullseye. But there's 3 colors in it. The Puno, it's fun. I found out by putting it online. I did some research, which I should have known, bring it into the shop. This is a sock blank. So this was knit first, machine knit, and then, if not hand dyed, kind of dyed in a pattern of chunks of color, and then unraveled and skeined up.
And steamed and all that.
I think that's really, really cool. So there's 3 colors along the length of this. It's the closest we have to a gradient in the shop. It's not a true gradient. It's not a slow fade the whole way. But over the course of it, it changes from dark to light. And I'm going to mess with it even more. I thought, ooh, moth, right? And we looked up some moth pictures, which helped me decide which direction to go with this. Cascade Heritage Snow it's a cream color, is my contrast. I'm going to follow the moth instructions for embellishments, but not for changing colors necessarily. I think last week I showed it off with just having gotten a little bit.
We had just gotten row or section 2.
Stripe 2. Stripe, yeah. It's so hard because there's big sections. There's 3 big sections, and then there's numbered pieces within the sections, which you could also call a section, but then that gets confusing. So maybe call it a stripe. You could call it a row, but then there's a row 5 and 6 that happens all the time. And then there's the row 5 and 6 that are the not Pokemon as complicated as we're making it sound. It's just ways to classify and tell people where you are can get a little complicated. So I'm on a big long needle just so I can stretch this out. Because it looks better that way. Because it looks better on pictures that way. But this is the dark brown. And the snow color for section 1. I'm not quite done with section 1, but I'm going to head into the medium brown as I transition into section 2, and then the light one will be section 3, and hopefully I'm almost done. So I've got a lot of this dark brown left, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to ball it off and use it for pops and accents and fun things like the eyes of a moth later. It's going to be so much fun. But this I had done Friday knit night, and then I haven't touched it since because, I had to finish something. It wasn't going to be this. So I worked on my sweater. So, so that I can't even remember what our goals were on Thursday, but this is what we got done.
Yeah, well, like I got past section.
Don't you show off your other
on this?
Yeah, you got the eyelets in the pop
I got
color.
the eyelets in the pop.
She's got the dirt in
and I got the dirt
eyelets.
in it. And then it was last week.
I forget if we talked about it on the show yet or not.
I started my I'm gonna call it my night Papillon because I have a shadow, I have a ghost, and this one is Heritage Real Black,
which is black.
Silk. Yeah, it's
black.
And then Patagonia's black.
It might be called anthracite.
Anthracite. It's an off black. So if I hold them up, you can tell there's really different
dark
in
gray.
them. Yeah.
Which we affectionately call
off black. So I'm almost to the end of section 1, and I don't think even holding it up that you can see.
I think if you hold it really close to the camera, they might back where you are, you can see the difference in thicknesses.
Yeah.
Because the anthracite is a little bit thicker than the Heritage. So you can see some of what's going on in it held up against you. But yeah, up closer.
Oh, there it is.
It's actually because it's against you, it's hard to see.
There it is. You can just barely make out.
I can see here in real life just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's black and off black. It's fantastic.
In real life, you can see it just a little bit more.
I might try to take a picture if Liz lets me. And put it on the business feed.
I wanted, I've played with every version, and I was like, what if I did 2 almost matching colors? Yeah, what have I not done?
And if 2 almost matching colors, of course you're gonna go with black.
Well, yeah, because you walk around in it and everybody's like, oh, it's a black shawl, and then you look closer, oh, it's a black butterfly.
Keep your social distance, but look closer.
And yeah, I'm doing it on
I can see
much
it from over
looser
here, and I'm almost far enough away to be appropriately socially distanced. So especially in the sun out there, I think people will see it.
It's I'm doing it on a 10, so it's even bigger than my normal 9s, and it's
really cool. Speaking of cool,
can't wait. And you blocked.
I blocked my look. Isn't it pretty?
So
I blocked my Stay Out of the Forest, which is a crescent shawl, but it has chevron stripies in it. So I had to use 3 sets of knit blockers on this, plus straight pins for the points, to try to get this, because I could pull out the points. Chevron is, angled like this, and I could pull out the points, but then between the points, it was bowing. So I had to use a lot of knit blockers, which are like combs with sharp teeth, to try to straighten out. They're not perfect up points like this, because I didn't fiddle with the up points. I only really pulled at the down points, but then I tried to straighten them out somewhat. So I could have overblocked it even more, but I ran out of sharp pointy things. And yes, I run a yarn shop, but I wasn't coming back into the yarn shop.
I wish you'd let me know. I have a pin cushion full of 500 pins.
You don't live near me, Liz.
Well, I could have brought it into work.
Yes, but
handed it off, and
this happened on the weekend. Problems. By the way, funniest message we got at the shop this weekend when I went to go listen. We had 2 messages from the weekend, and one was someone wanting some advice on needles. We'll try to call her back soon. And the other was someone saying, and it said Sunday, blah, 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 which my machine tells me when, people call. She didn't say when she was calling, but she said, we're driving through town right now. We're wondering if you're open. We don't mind shopping outside. I love that she was willing to shop outside. Yay, people who want to play by the rules. Because remember, you can only come in with an appointment. We haven't been open on the weekend for a year. And she might not have known that. That's okay. The thing is, for her to leave the message, she had to listen through our message that says, please leave a message. And that says when we're open. It says our hours of operation currently are Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5. I say that at least once in the message.
Please read. Please listen.
Well, that's not, yeah.
You actually learn stuff.
You have to wait through that to leave a message, but I guess people wait through and don't listen. The whole point, in my opinion, the whole point of having an answering system, besides getting messages from people when we're not here, is to communicate to people when we're not here important information. And I'm trying to communicate to people, if you call on the weekend, you hear the message that says our hours of operation are Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 5. So that should indicate we're not open on the weekends. I think in some ways she was maybe hoping we were here doing work and she could shop with us. There have been people that we've done that for, if like we're here on a Monday, but that's very rare. Very, very rare. It's like if we have a million packages going on and they check ahead, like they email or call or rearrange it.
Yeah.
Very rare.
And most of the time, except for if we have a million packages and we come in on Monday, like we did after Christmas and one more big sale, we came in on a Monday to get stuff ready. Part of the reason we don't come in at all on the weekends, even though we have a lot of stuff to do in the shop, she's doing a lot of stuff at home on the computer for the shop. But also, we've tried putting up curtains and closing all the curtains to do work in the shop.
Back when we were only open for business a couple days a week, and we used the other days to like organize,
to clean and get yarn put away. People will see the curtains down and knock on the door. If the curtains are up,
they'll see the movement.
They'll see movement and knock on the door,
or just yank on the door,
or yank on the door.
Doesn't matter what the hours say, but you're here.
You're here. Oh, good, you came to the door now. No, the register isn't open, but I'm here.
Yeah. And yeah, so the days we're not open, honestly, we can't be here because we can't functionally get anything done on the days we're not open because we have to hide from people.
We've talked that when we get ready to open up, we're going to have to come in way late at night after town goes to bed.
The only way we can clean up the shop and get it ready for people is if we are here, like if we switch our sleep cycles and come in the middle of the night. And that will A, feel creepy, and B, even then we might have people who are like, oh, look, your lights are on. Anyway, but I digress.
Please read and listen to answering machines.
Yeah, please. We're trying. We really don't mean to overload you with information. We're trying to be helpful and be good business owners for you. Anyway, so I want to show off this. Ta-ta.
Oh my gosh.
Did it get bigger? I think it got bigger. I think it got bigger. She got duck under it. Okay, so.
Oh, wow. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I think
the last time it went
on it right now.
It went. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Yeah.
And now it actually angles.
You can hold it here and pull up and do the turn in thing, right? But I really worked when I blocked it on having a more graceful. It's gonna pucker a little here, like almost all crescent shawls do. But look at that.
Oh
look
my
at
gosh.
the points.
Yeah, it got bigger.
Yay! I used
it feels so yummy.
So yummy and soft. I used an entire 18 pad set of coconuts blockers, and the top tips had to be pinned to the carpet. So yes, thank you for helping me. So this is my very finished Stay Out of the Forest. I'm going to keep it here at the shop because we have the kits of yarn for this now. And I'm not sure if we're going to have time to show them off today, but you can look online. This is I have fuzz in my mouth.
How did that happen?
From holding this up.
Oh.
This is the reason Liz was like, ooh, it feels so wonderful. This is the alpaca, silk, and merino. And she dyed us kits in the alpaca, silk, and merino combo of these four colors. One, the onyx, silver, river stone, and then different pop colors at the end. This is rose gold. It's kind of a nice corally pinky color, but not pink. You know, it's a coral at the bottom here. salmony coral is what I would call it for mine. She did a teal, which no longer exists in the Yummy Soft Stuff, because she did it on two bases. She did it on mine of the alpaca, silk, and merino, the one she enticed me with. And she did it on 100% superwash merino. And they will both be lovely, but this will be like just luscious.
There's a bright green.
There's teal. There's a bright green called fern. There is bronze age, which is a nice kind of mustardy, goldy yellow. And
purple.
There's a lilac is the purple. And is that 5?
I think so.
Rose gold.
Yep.
Teal. Teal's already gone in my luscious stuff, but we have it in merino. Get it before Liz does. Bronze age, fern, and lilac. I put them up on our site. What's really cool, if you go back and forth, or if you got our newsletter, I might put some social media posts out today if there's time, is the bases took the color differently. So I would say that the merino is more super saturated. I would say I'm going to hold off and show you all that on Thursday if there's time. The merino, it's more of a saturated deep color for all of those bright colors. And the alpaca, merino, and silk, it's a little bit softer. The colors came out a little bit softer, but it's wonderful. And so you might be drawn to a different base for a different reason. So the 4-pack for merino is $100, and the 4-pack for the alpaca, silk, and merino is $130. So, but oh my gosh, like, okay, I have to try this now. I think I put this on last week just to show, like,
oh yeah,
it came down to my elbows, right? This is now, I feel like a bat. I love it. A bat with frilly tips.
I want to see the turn.
It's going to. Fine.
It looks so cool.
Isn't it pretty? So this is enough yarn, like 4 skeins of sport weight yarn like this is enough for this gloriously huge shawl. It's not as big as the pattern because I started calculating I was going to run out of yarn to fully do the pattern as written, but it's still pretty gymongous, right? You can see off the ends there. It's probably enough for mid-range size to skinny people to do a sport weight sweater. This was 4 skeins of yarn, but much higher yardage. You might, with the color combo, be able to get a really cool looking striped sweater out of that combo. I think it'd be really, really neat. So consider it. They are up online right now. We will not be talking about them tomorrow. They will not be a product of the week, but some of you have other codes for other reasons that can save you money. If you want to use them, I can't stop you. So anyway, so that was that. And I have one more thing to show off. I think only one more thing. I focused my energy on only a few things this weekend, but it was a lot of stuff. So, you know, it happens. I found this old bag from Twist Fiber Studio, and so it is holding my crochet project right now.
Yeah.
I showed you all the crochet shawl. I have to go back and forth between 2 pages, so one's not in here. The lace fan shawl is actually written for Cascade Heritage, which is a fingering weight. And I said, hold my beer. Not that I drink anymore at all, but challenge accepted. I'm going to do it with my lace. And I think I was showing y'all last week. I'd start just a little bit with this bright, cheery yellow from my lace. And then we talked one night on Knit Night about the Pantone colors of the year. And I said, ooh, we have a gray that fits. So let's use these together. Let's have fun with that. This was my morning meditation, and I only got halfway through a row putting the yellow back in. But I'm putting a gray stripe in about every 6 rows. Once you get going, there's a 3-row repeat. So once every 6 rows, once every 2 repeats, I'm putting some gray in. And it's really fun. I managed to make everyone go. When I did my double crochet 7 together on this. So this is my crochet shawl so far.
I love the gray.
This will be absolutely wonderful in a heavier, in the fingering weight instead of the lace weight, but I just wanted to have fun. So yeah, the gray is just adding such a nice little pop. I've put two of them in. See, I started back with the yellow again over here. That's where I was at when I did my morning meditation, but I was running late, so I couldn't finish the row. But I'm gonna just keep going. I might be using two of the yellow on this. We'll see. But when I block it, it should really pull out.
It's gonna, yeah.
And sing. There are, one of the rows is a combination of the fan right here is made out of triple crochets on the fancy row. And then for a feather and fan, the feather part that comes in is 7 double crochets together, which is this tighter spot right here. And then the row after that is a lot of double crochets balancing things out. It's fun and pretty. So this picture is like dusty orchid or dusty something. It might even be a color we have in Cascade Heritage. We'd have to look. I think it's only supposed to take a couple skeins of Cascade Heritage. Again, we'll have to look. I want to say, well, yeah. I think the smallest size, the when you look at the Ravelry listing, it says like 800 something yards to maybe 1,000 yards. 800 something is only 2 skeins of Cascade Heritage. So like Heritage Silk, oh, it'd be so lovely. So lovely. So crocheters out there, I think, I want to say this was on an E. You could always go, like I'm doing a D on the lace weight because I'm a loose crocheter. You could always go to a bigger hook.
Always.
Liz will always tell you that. You might need more yarn though to fully complete this. I think as long, there's like little picots at the bottom of this to finish it off. As long as you get to a certain repeat of this, you can do the edging. You don't have to make it exactly the same number of rows as she did. We'll see where I get to and when, if I want to crack another ball of my lace open or not. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think you would too if you decide to try this pattern out. It's really fun. So anyway, we'll put links to the patterns that we're talking about in the description. So if you're watching on a device where you can get to the description, sometimes you can't see that when you're watching it on a TV, but it'll be there, or contact us. I think that's all I have to talk about. There's other stuff that maybe I wanted to work on or got minimal amount of work done on, but I could only bring in so much. So let's go over, we have a couple minutes left. Schedule for the week, right?
Schedule for the week. Tomorrow, the most dangerous show of the week.
Mm-hmm. In terms of our show this week, tomorrow is the VSC, most dangerous show of the week. There's a really good chance we're going to be talking about these.
But we're not sure yet, so wait and watch.
I don't have them online yet, or you could scarf them before we might talk about them because we only have so much of them. But I want to talk about these, but we'll see.
It depends on a lot of factors.
Oh, apparently I might have to talk with Liz about this a little more.
No.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
We don't do show notes. So even though we want to talk about them tomorrow we could wake up and decide not to. So you never
know. I'm very excited about those though.
I know.
I want to make something out of those, but then
I do too.
But we have to leave some for our customers, Liz.
I know. The struggle is real.
Yeah. This yarn, Baby Butts and Unicorn Kiss, is not the official name of this yarn. They had to discontinue some colors to make room for some colors, and we can talk more about that maybe tomorrow. It's sad but happy at the same time. So, I was going to show you the inside of this too. But hang on, let's finish the schedule. One thing at a time. Thursday, Dear Becky and Lizzy, mostly.
Yep.
I think we have at least one question. If you would like to ask us a question for us to pontificate on, for this Thursday, you might as well email
Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com.
The whole long thing. If you want to write us a cute little letter that we'll probably get here for next week, you can write Dear Becky and Lizzy, Sundragon Art and Fiber, 35 South Broad Street, Brevard, North Carolina, 28712. let's see.
Friday. Oh, tonight and
yeah,
Friday night?
I was like, wait, that's our schedule for what you can watch this week.
Yes.
Now our schedule for how you can hang out with us and get the joy of the Liz and Rebecca show
live and
in person as long as you're talking
Zoom.
through a computer screen.
Yeah.
Tonight
6 to 9
Eastern daylight time. What East Coast time.
Whatever time it is now.
Right now, it is coming up on 10:00 on 10 o'clock. And it will be 6 to 9 p.m., which is what, 18
to 21.
To 21 if you're on military time. Based off of me saying it's about 10 o'clock right now, which of course means nothing because when this is published, it will probably be
12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, something
13.
like that. Anyway, East Coast time, 6 to 9 p.m. on Zoom with the code to join the meeting of 828-877-3550.
Always forget the 877.
Really interesting. Yeah, I always second guess myself, but that's our shop phone number. That's also the number you should call if you want to see if we're here and listen to the message. And if it's not the times we say we're open, we're not here. I say that with all love. I really do. And we will also be having a sit and stitch on Friday at the same time. If you can't join us Tuesday, you can join us Friday if you're available in those evening hours.
We always say, come when you can, leave when you have to.
Yes, you're not. It's not like, well, it's 6:30. I can't go. No.
We have people that come in at 8:15.
And you're not.
Just to
you don't
say
have to stay with us for 3 hours. If you have the time, that's fantastic. But don't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't attend because I don't have 3 hours to spare. I get it.
Life.
Come for like 10 minutes. It's all good. Come see what it's all about. See what maybe we're really quiet and you're like, no, this isn't for me. Or maybe we're being really loud and you're like, no, this isn't for me.
You also scheduled the next Saturday. If you missed this weekend,
this past weekend, we had, like, if you don't want to join for evening hours, once a month, we do a Saturday afternoon for 4 hours from 1 to 5.
Eastern time.
And it's on Facebook as well as Zoom. So if you're not comfortable with the whole Zoom thing or Zoom doesn't work on your computer or whatever, we are also on Facebook Live. You get to stare at me and listen to everybody else. Or, don't stare at me and just listen to everybody else. But I might be showing off things. Yeah, Liz is over on Zoom on a separate device.
When life gets back to normal, we'll probably do Facebook Live together.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun.
But 4 hours unmasked in the same area we can't do.
No.
So.
And we're both getting a little closer. Liz is vaccinated. I finally am getting my first shot on Friday. Yay! But that still is a ways off from both of us being vaccinated. And even then, we're still going to be waiting to see where everything's going in terms of the science and the results and stuff before we're even going to be doing 4 hours in the same room unmasked. You guys know, most of you know, if you've been with us since the beginning of this or picked up on this since the beginning of this, we shut down earlier than most people did to keep people safe. And we'll probably open up later than most people to keep everyone safe. And I know that's annoying and it is for us too, but we're being safe. So,
April.
Yes, the next time we're having that afternoon sit and stitch, it's been later in the month, but 4 weeks from Saturday is actually April 17th, which is kind of the middle of the month, but that's okay because it's 4 weeks away from the last one we did, and later in the month would be right after my second shot. No, I'm not hanging out with y'all for 4 hours after my second shot because there's a good chance I'll be sleeping all day that day. I'm prepared for some side effects for my second shot, and that's okay because that means that the vaccine is doing its work. So if I feel like poop after my second shot, I will celebrate weekly, as in yay, because I know it's doing its work. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it, and I think we should open up the shop. So good to see everybody. Oh, let me real quick. Let me show you all. I'm going to flip this thing inside out.
It's alive.
Wow.
It's alive.
And it's all already felting a little bit on the inside. So I'm not really worried about my ends coming apart. But So let's show you as a parting shot here. This is the inside of the sleeve with all of the ends. See all these stringies? All these stringies.
All the stringies.
And this is the one that I've sewn all the ends in. And then here's the fun of the back. This is the middle of the back. These were all the things that were leading to my tails. Here, let me show you the top. You can kind of see where it's a little thicker in places where I've been sewing my ends in and where I'm leaving them hanging a little bit. That's okay, because I haven't blocked this yet. It might kind of wiggle and scooch when it's blocked. And if I cut them really close to where I want them to stay, they might unravel a little bit. But here are the ones I still have to go, and here are the ones I've done. I have a video on my tips and tricks channel about weaving in ends. Yay. Check it out if you want to get some tips. Liz is ready to go. We should go.
I'm just packing up because you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. Our first scheduled appointment as of when we started filming was at 2:00. But things can change. Walk-up traffic can happen anytime. So we will see you all outside the shop or inside if you make an appointment, or tonight on Zoom. And we'll talk to you later. Bye. Stay safe. Yay.